Welcome back to the Help Coin channel, where we analyze all of the events that are taking place in the XRP space. No hype, no fluff, and no background. If you own XRP, are keeping an eye on this market, or simply want to know why this digital asset continues to make headlines while the rest of the cryptocurrency world seems to be moving slowly, what we're going to cover today is going to be very vital. I hope everyone is having a nice day. You should not browse past this one, I promise. Okay, let's dive right in. Over the past few days, the inbox has been overflowing. Clips, you name it, hypotheses, questions, etc. And Jake Claver is the name that keeps popping up. He seems to be giving away that he is aware of the exact moment that XRP will blow up. That's a daring claim. And you know what happens when cryptocurrency and audacious claims collide. The machine of speculation goes into overdrive. Here's the problem, though. Let's analyze what is actually being stated and determine what makes sense and what doesn't, rather than chasing rumors. First clip. Jake is specifically questioned about the expected timing for XRP and whether he is bound by an NDA that restricts him from disclosing anything. He avoids it. Just a kind appreciation of the fantastic conversation. Neither confirms nor denies. That's all it takes to get the crowd excited, of course. Immediately after reading it, people began to imagine scenarios involving XRP approaching the moon and secret knowledge. To be clear, though, a hazy response does not equate to insider information. It merely prepares the audience for the hype. Also, rumors about cryptocurrency spread more quickly than facts. Jake then discusses how XRP reserves are rapidly depleting. Indeed, exchange liquidity has been declining. Retail holders gaining control, institutions removing coins from exchanges, and typical market fluctuations account for some of that. However, referring to it as a supply shock is a step too far. Of course, a supply shock might occur. But to assert that it's impending, you need more information than a few vanishing tokens. Because markets are intricate, a single metric can never fully capture the picture. He then discusses his thesis over the previous 18 months. He claims that his conviction hasn't altered and that everything he has forecast about XRP is coming to pass. Although that seems amazing, consistency should not be mistaken for certainty. Although maintaining a thesis for a year and a half does not ensure results, it does demonstrate his consistency, which is somewhat important. Nevertheless, nobody, not even Jake, has a crystal ball when it comes to time. When he brings up the US debt issue and the possibility that the government could keep XRP on its balance sheet, things start to get extremely interesting. Is that feasible? In a technical sense, absolutely. Is it confirmed? Absolutely not. Although it's speculative, it's worthwhile to keep a watch on the government's cryptocurrency holdings. As David Sachs has stated publicly, we don't know exactly how much crypto the government holds. There might be significant market repercussions if big organizations or government-supported organizations chose to implement XRP in some way. Lastly, Jake talks about how changes in liquidity and demand might push the price of XRP to extremely high heights without any direct reevaluation. There is some merit to that aspect. Large price swings can undoubtedly be caused by adoption, infrastructural changes, and institutional inflows. However, tying certain multi-thousand numbers to it is purely conjectural and should be handled with caution. Don't mistake possibilities for assurances. When they do, even experienced analysts get burnt. That's where we're going to start today. Vibrant assertions, indications of insider information, dwindling liquidity, and a great deal of conviction from individuals such as Jake. But keep in mind that we must distinguish between what is certain and what is possible. Here on HelpCoin, that is the line we walk. And that's the main focus of this channel. Instead of mindlessly chasing hype, analyze, contextualize, and comprehend the causes influencing XRP. Okay, continuing where we left off. Now, let's discuss the domino hypothesis. Now, some of you may be wondering what this XRP domino idea is. For those who don't know, the idea has been around for a while and wasn't created by Jake Claver. In essence, it's the notion that a number of the price of XRP will rise steadily over time as a result of events in its ecosystem acceptance and institutional involvement. The way Jake lays it down, it's about expecting these dominoes to fall one after the other. He has adapted it to the XRP story. This is the main lesson learned. Without the parts coming together initially, the market won't blow up overnight. That has previously been observed. Large institutions beginning to take positions, XRP reserves vanishing from exchanges, and the introduction of several ETFs paving the way for more demand. These are all dominoes, and once they begin to topple, the momentum can be enormous. However, time is crucial, and things don't always go as planned. Before continuing on its current course, the market may pause, consolidate, or even decline. Patience is therefore essential in this situation. Jake then discusses some of the issues surrounding US debt and the potential influence that XRP could have. I'm not claiming that this is a given, but it's a worthwhile concept. If the US government or even significant organizations connected to the government could use XRP as an asset to offset obligations as it was listed on its balance sheet. Consider it a hidden reserve that might have an indirect impact on fiscal stability, particularly in situations where traditional instruments like money creation might not be as effective. Although it's tricky and there isn't much evidence yet, the idea is that once disclosed or used, sizable unaccounted for assets may serve as a safety net, and in theory, cause a lot of market movement. And then there's the pragmatic aspect. Regardless of the order in which these dominoes fall, selling during a clicking sell is not the only way to perform a parabolic run. This is noted by Deanna from Digital Ascension Group. There is thin liquidity. The market just does not have enough buyers to meet the orders when many customers attempt to depart at the same price. Slippage may result from this, causing your XRP to sell for less than you anticipated. Planning is therefore crucial. You need a plan if you own XRP. Limit orders, small goals, and an awareness that institutional flows and over-the-counter transactions can absorb enormous amounts without coming into contact with public exchanges. In a market that is expanding quickly, it is the reality of liquidity. Here, let's also discuss market psychology. People are always questioning what's going on. What happens if it doesn't? What if everything falls apart? However, short-term forecasts are not the focus of the domino hypothesis. It concerns structural changes. We've observed small developments aligning over the last 18 months. ETFs, corporate collaborations, adoption, and regulatory clarity are all getting better.